Hello and welcome to our Amazon Live. My name is Darlene and I'm an OPI educator for OPI. Today I'm going to talk about Gel Color 101. So what really is gel color? So here I have for you our base coats and our shade, complimentary wine is what I'll be using today, and also our top coat, Stay Shiny. Now, for gel color is a professional product. So just keep in mind that you will need an Amazon business account in order to purchase these items. All you have to do is use your nail license and create a business account, and you can purchase any of our gel colors or even our powder perfections. But today I will talk about gel color. So gel color is a curable system that is applied onto the nail for very long-lasting wear and long-lasting shine. It's very different from a traditional nail lacquer in a way that it does require a light to cure the product so that you can wear it very long. In addition, anytime we have curables, that also means that the removal process will be different. So I will talk about that in a little bit. But there's a lot of myths about gel color or even gel manicures in general that, oh, it can damage the nail. This is actually a myth. And the reason why this is a myth is because proper removal is very important. So let's begin first with proper prep. So why is proper prep so important? Well, proper prep is how you will get longevity of wear. So our gel color system, and you're going to hear me use the word system quite a bit because you need to use all components of the system in order to get that wear. So when you're prepping the nail, so here I have my lovely friend, left hand Linda is what I like to call her. And I have a nail tip already prepped. But when you're working on a client, right, always remember, sanitize your hands, sanitize your client's hands, and try to wear gloves. Today I'm not wearing gloves just because I'm not working with a client. And you do want to always wear gloves whenever you're working with professional products, just to be safe because of overexposure to any of the chemicals that we use, right? So just be safe. But today I won't be using them just because it's not necessary and I don't have a real client to work on. So here's the nail tip. When we're prepping the nail, you want to make sure number one key for gel is the cuticle area, okay? You want to make sure that the cuticle area does not have any excess cuticles on the nail plate. What that will do is it will affect how close you can get to the cuticle line. So you don't want to have a gap, right? If your client is leaving the salon already with a slight gap here, then the grow out is not going to be very nice. So if we clean up the cuticle area very well and also around the side walls, okay? Don't forget the side walls because when the cuticles grow out, not only do they grow over here in the near the cuticle area in the top, but they will also grow around the side walls. So when you do this, you will ensure longevity of wear. What's also really important after you push back the cuticles and you nip any lifted cuticles is to use some sort of buffer. So when you're applying on natural nails, you want to make sure that you're using a very, very fine buffer. So the higher the grit of the buffer, that means the finer the buffer is. When you buff the nails, we're not trying to etch the nail plate. All we're trying to do is just to make sure that if there is any excess dead skin or dead cuticle around the cuticle area and sidewalls, that we smooth them out. So that's going to allow you to apply a very smooth application with gel and at the same time make sure that you don't flood the cuticle area, right? Very important. Last but not least, always cleanse the nail, but then always use some sort of balancing agent. So OPI has our Bond-Aid pH balancing agent. This is going to increase the wear and it's also going to balance the pH of the nail plate in order for the nail plate to become more alkaline. Those are all just really fancy words. What it really means is that the nail plate now is going to provide maximum adhesion because we are using a product that's going to balance the adhesion and balance the nail plate. So now let's say I've gone through my proper prep and it's time to apply base coat. So I'm going to show you today our base coats that we have. So we actually have two options. Here I have my Stay Strong and I have my Stay Classic. Now, let's talk about Stay Classic. Now, Stay Classic, you've actually probably already heard about Stay Classic before because it used to be in our old packaging and it was just called our GelColor base coat. We redid our packaging and there's a couple of cool elements. So now, if you look at the top here, we have put the name of the base coat on the shoulder of the bottle. This is really important for nail techs specifically because we need to know what we're grabbing from our drawers. Generally, we don't display our base coats, we keep our base coats in our drawers. So if we're working very quickly, we've got clients back to back, we might grab the wrong base coat. What if we grab a top coat by accident and then you cure it and then darn, you have to then remove it because you already cured it, right? So because we have two base coats available, we wanted to make sure that you knew which base coat was which when it was in your drawer. Now, what's the difference between Stay Classic and Stay Strong? Well, Stay Classic, as you know, is our same formula that you know and love from our GelColor base coat. All we did was just give it new packaging. Now, Stay Strong provides strength to the nails. So what it does is that this has a higher gel to solvent ratio. Anything that has a higher gel ratio means that it's also going to wear a little bit longer. It's also going to provide more strength. Now, Stay Classic would be best for a client who already wears GelColor very well. They can use Stay Classic because Stay Classic has a higher solvent to gel ratio. So what that really means is that this will wear nicely, but it will also provide a little bit of flexibility. Whereas Stay Strong is for the client where, let's say, they have weaker nails, or Stay Strong would best for a client who their hands are in water a lot. If your hands are in water a lot, then your nails tend to be more flexible. So by using Stay Strong, then you can provide additional strength to the nail so that it won't be more flexible. So it's really important that when you're choosing a base coat for the client, you really have that consultation with the client to make sure what type of lifestyle they have and what type of job they have. Those things are all really important, okay? So we have Stay Classic once again, and we have Stay Strong. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to use Stay Strong because Stay Classic is very easy to use, and so is Stay Strong, but I'd like to emphasize how to apply Stay Strong because it's not as simple as a 3-stroke application. And a big reason is because of the viscosity difference. So what is viscosity? Viscosity is just the thickness of the product. So if we see here, this is using our traditional brush. It also has a nice grip cap so that when you're busy in the salon, you're wearing gloves, it doesn't slip and you can easily open it. Same long brush, very thin viscosity. All you have to do is use a 3-stroke application and make sure you cap the free edge. Now, using our Stay Strong, same thing. We do have a nice grip for our caps, but if you can see here, the viscosity is much thicker. So because the viscosity is thicker, what we've done is we've shortened the brush. So you can see from here, this is my Stay Strong brush, and this is my Stay Classic brush. Huge difference, right? So why did we shorten the brush? So we shortened the brush because the viscosity is thicker and we don't want you to apply too much onto the nail. What happens if you apply too much on the nail? You can get premature lifting. So if you apply too much of a thick viscosity anything, what usually happens is that it's going to peel off very easily. So you want to make sure that you're using Stay Strong properly. So let me show you how I use my Stay Strong. So taking my client's finger, properly prepped, taking just a little bit of product, I'm going to make sure that I use a burnishing technique. So a burnishing technique just means that I'm just kind of pressing it into the nail plate, making sure that I'm applying an ultra thin layer. So we always apply thin layers for base coat, but when we're using Stay Strong, we want to make sure that we're applying an ultra thin layer, okay? Then getting very close to the cuticle area, and because I did proper prep, and I buffed around the cuticle area, and I used Band-Aid, I can actually get very, very close. And now my thin brush is allowing me to burnish it into the nail plate. This is what's really going to provide the long wear and also that additional strength on the client. And don't forget, you want to cap that free edge, okay? If the client's nails are short, cap the free edge first so that you don't leave a lip. But if the client's nails are long, like I'm doing today, cap the free edge after. So after you apply that nice ultra thin coat of Stay Strong, we will then let our client cure for 30 seconds. So I'm going to place left hand Linda into my OPI LED light. So let's talk about lights while that's curing. Systemization is very, very important. And I'll tell you why systemization is very important. You have to use the base coat, the color, and the top coat, but that's not it. It's also very important to use the proper light. This is important because when manufacturers design their products, they design all of their products to work in conjunction with each other. So when they do their testing, when they do all of that, they make sure that it works properly. Not all lights are built equally. So whenever you're using GelColor, you want to also make sure that you're using an OPI light so that you know that you're going to definitely get the wear. So let's move on to our shade now that my client has cured for 30 seconds. And all of the cure times for our GelColor products are just 30-second cure times. Here I have Complimentary Wine. Love this new shade, perfect for fall. Complimentary Wine actually is our hero shade for our newest Milan collection. So if you haven't tried it, definitely try it out. You're gonna love it. When it comes to GelColor, you always want to make sure that you shake your bottles for at least 1 minute. The reason why you do this is because OPI shades are highly pigmented. So that means the pigment loads, there's a lot of them in there. And when they sit and they display on a shelf all day, what happens is that the pigments actually fall to the bottom. And then you want to make sure that you shake it so then all of the resins, all of your oligomers, all of your pigments, any of your monomers, they all are fully dispersed so you don't get shrinking. So if you ever experience shrinking with GelColor, you really, really need to make sure that you shake your bottle. The way I like to shake my bottle is I turn my bottle upside down, and then I kind of just shake it on my palm, okay? That's how I like to do it. Really depends. I've seen other people actually use a shaker. I've seen other people turn their bottle upside down and kind of put it in their 2 fingers, and then they shake up and down like this. But you just want to make sure that you're letting it shake for 1 minute. And now that you have an OPI LED light, all you have to do is click it, make sure that it's on 60 seconds, and so you know exactly how long you need to shake it for. So I've already pre-shaked all of my bottles. So now I'm going to apply my first coat of Complimentary Wine, taking just a little bit of product. And I'm going to show you one of my pro tips, which is what I call a push technique. So I apply close to the cuticle area, and then I slowly push upward towards the cuticle. Because gel is a professional product, it is also cohesive. So just remember, oops, that's my dog. So sorry about that. I think the mailman's here. So applying straight close to the cuticle area without flooding. It's very important not to flood the cuticle area, especially with the red, because once you do flood the cuticle area, it's very hard to go back. So use the push technique as best as you can just to push the gel forward and then apply onto the sides, right? So what I like to do is go push, come down the middle, the left side, and then the right side, and then always make sure you cap the free edge. Oops, there we go. Then after I apply my first coat, don't worry if you don't feel like the coverage, you have enough coverage, because you will apply a second coat. I cure my first coat of complimentary wine for 30 seconds. So it's always a 30-second cure. Let's talk about curing and why it's really important when you're working with GelColor. Sometimes I go into the salon, I get my nails done, and I see other nail techs. The client wants to cure for a minute, 2 minutes, and I understand completely why they do that. It's because we don't want our clients to move. So we'd rather have them do something than move and either mess up their manicure or get lint into their nails. I totally understand that. But I want to caution you on that, only because when you over cure the GelColor, what happens is that it makes the removal very difficult when you over cure. Because remember, it's going to continue to cure when your client is out and about in their daily lives. Because it is a curable product, it uses UV LED wavelength. So when they're in the sun, it will continue to cure slightly, especially if they're wearing it for up to 21 days. So our GelColor system, when you use it properly, it does last up to 21 days. But remember, clients will vary. So if it does vary, it's important that you choose the correct base coat. So I'm applying my second coat, doing the same thing, using the push technique, getting as close to the cuticle area as possible without flooding, bringing my brush down, applying to the left-hand side, then applying to my right-hand side, and just applying very, very thin coats. And why are we applying thin coats? Same reason why we're applying ultra thin coats of our Stay Strong base coat. You don't want to have any premature lifting or peeling. There I have my second coat, and you can really see now I really have the coverage, and I can really see the color and the depth and richness of complimentary wine. So putting it back in my light and allowing it to cure for another 30 seconds. Now, before I move on to the next step, I just want to remind everybody that I am showing today our GelColor system. It is a professional product. So if you are a licensed nail technician, you are able to create an Amazon business account using your nail license in order to purchase our GelColor products and any other of our professional products as well. So don't forget that. Now I finished curing 30 seconds, and I'm going to apply my Stay Shiny top coat. So same as our Stay Classic base coat, we changed the packaging of our top coat as well so that it can also fit into our GelColor new packaging. So you can see here, same thing. We have the Stay Shiny top coat on the neck of the bottle, but then also we have the nice grippy cap so that it's very easy to use when you're in the salon. So keep in mind though, the formula has not changed. It is still 100% gel. So what that really means is that it's going to give you very high shine, up to 21 days of shine. But then also my favorite part about our base coat, and I have been using OPI GelColor base coat, top coat, even before I was working for them, because it's so thin. And it's very important to have a thin top coat, because when you're applying gel, it can look kind of thick, right? And that's why we've been applying very ultra thin layers. But with the top coat, sometimes if you do nail art, for example, you want to make sure that the top coat is super thin so that it doesn't look thick. No one likes a thick GelColor manicure. So shake your bottles as well for 60 seconds. I've already pre-shaken my bottle. And now I'm going to apply a nice thin coat of my Stay Shiny top coat. I do the same thing using my push technique, and I make sure that I cover the entire nail. Then I cap the free edge. Now, before I cure, I want to talk about something. So cure for 30 seconds, actually. Now, while it's curing, I want to talk to you about the brush. So you can see that I have a little bit of pigment on my brush. This is completely normal. This does not mean that the gel did not cure. Because our GelColor shades are so highly pigmented, there will be a slight tacky layer, inhibition layer, right? And in that inhibition layer, there might be some pigments that were not underneath the curing layer. So it's just a part of the inhibition layer. And all you have to do is just clean it off on a nail wipe, definitely a lint-free nail wipe, so that you don't cross-contaminate. And that's what I really love about our brush as well, is that we have a white brush. Other competitors have a black brush. So you actually don't know that you picked up some of the pigments from the inhibition layer. And then you go in and you put it back into your bottle, and then you've already cross-contaminated your top coat. So it's really important to make sure that it's nice and clean before you put it back. Then we will take our cured finger and take a nail wipe and NAS 99, which is a nail cleansing solution. Not only can you use NAS 99 for prep, but you can also use it to remove the inhibition layer. So our top coat is not a no cleanse top coat, okay? So it does have an inhibition layer. Why is that important? Because our top coat does not require any surface shine removal when you are removing our GelColor system from the nails. So remember earlier I was talking to you guys and saying how proper removal is super important. Why it's so important? So whenever you're using the Stay Classic system, or if you're using the Stay Strong system, these provide up to 21 days of wear. So it's important that you remove it properly so you don't damage the natural nail plate. We don't have to remove any surface shine when we're doing the removal, but what you do want to do is use a file to break the free edge, because remember, we cap the free edge the entire time. Capping that free edge is going to ensure long wear, but at the same time, when it's time to remove, you want to remove the capping before you go ahead and soak it in Expert Touch lacquer remover or any type of acetone-based remover. So speaking of removal times, when you're using the Stay Classic system, and when I say system, that means you use the color along with the top coat, the removal time is 15 minutes without having to remove any surface shine. Now, what happens if you're using Stay Strong? Because, right, I said that Stay Strong could potentially add longer wear. That also means if there's longer wear, there's longer removal time, and you don't want to rush that process. So when you're using Stay Strong, you want to add an additional 3 minutes of soaking time so that you can make sure and ensure that you're removing it properly without damaging the nail plate. So remember to use it in a system. Now, here I have my finished nail. Beautiful. If I were working on a real client, I would use a little bit of Pro Spa cuticle oil, drop a drop onto my client's finger, and just massage it in and probably finish it off with a lovely hand massage. So left hand Linda is getting real lucky. So there you have it. That is our conclusion for GelColor 101. My name is Darlene Cedapan, and thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for taking the time to listen. I hope you guys found this very, very helpful, and I hope you guys definitely purchase quite a bit of our Stay Strong, Stay Classic, and our OPI GelColor shades along with the top coat, our Stay Shiny top coat. So have a great weekend. And thank you so much again for joining me.